Hello and welcome to Bernama Property Hot Seat, presented by Sun Surya. I'm Vincent, and with me is my co-host, Chris Tan. Today, we have a very important guest, our Honourable Minister, YB Zuraida Kamaruddin, Minister of Housing and Local Government. Welcome, YB.
Yeah, thank you very much, both Vincent and Chris, for inviting me today in this first program of Property Hot Seat.
Yeah, it's indeed our honour, YB. Since it's called the Property Hot Seat, we can't run too far away from the ministry, being responsible for housing as well as the local government.
Yes, YB. Thank you for being our guest in our first episode itself. I'm sure many Malaysians are eager to hear firsthand from you. Now, shall we begin?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, YB. YB, ever since you assumed the appointment as the Minister of Housing and Local Government, what are the major actions that you and Ministry has taken so far in relation to provisions of affordable homes?
Alhamdulillah, I was appointed to be the Minister for Housing and Local Government, which housing has been a passionate subject to me since I was an MP for the past 10 years. So when the Housing Ministry was given to me, of course, the first thing that I would like to look into was to look into the welfare of the B40 class, where I see the low-cost houses are very dilapidated, it's becoming slums and ghettos, and that shouldn't be the standard of living of Malaysians.
Sure.
So therefore, my first concern is to look into upgrading their quality of life in terms of the housing facilities and so on and so forth. Yeah.
So YB, I get that housing is close to your heart.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at, for example, affordable housing in Malaysia is not new, right? And we've been for the longest time we've been hearing the initiative and all that. But one thing that puzzled me for the longest time is that are we going to really attempt to define what's affordable housing? Yeah. Because affordable housing is different to me, different to Dato Sri, different to yourself.
Okay. So we have come up with the Dasar Perumahan Negara 2.0, which for the first time in the Dasar, the housing policy, we have a sub-Dasar, where is Dasar Rumah Mampu Milik Negara. It's affordable home council, which is in line with the Pakatan Harapan Manifesto. And on the 18th of January, was it on the 8th of January, we have the first meeting chaired by the PM of the National Affordable Home Council. Yep. So that's the first meeting that he chaired, and we presented to him what our plans with regards to achieving the manifesto. Sure. So I think, inshallah, with the new government, with the new policy, we would able to give the kind of urge to this group of people how important to have home ownership and how important they are themselves to be empowered, and how important they themselves have to work hard to get the house that they want.
Sure. Yeah. Well, YB, I understand the manifesto talk about 1 million homes in 10 years. We know that, which means it's about 100,000 homes a year. And to me, it is really a tall order. You're looking about half of the housing supply every year, more than that. In fact, is it really achievable?
No, to me it's achievable, it's doable, because you break into 10 years, like you said, it's 100,000 per year. And of course, we have a different participants or players in that affordable homes. If they follow the affordable homes policy, so these players include the government themselves, include the state government, include the private developers also. Right. So as long as they follow the guidelines for these affordable homes, they are considered as affordable homes. So affordable homes in our new context of Dasar Perumahan Negara, Dasar Rumah Mampu Milik Negara, is those houses 300,000 and below. And this time is very interesting because the housing of the prices will look into the median income of the local, of the locality, of the people in that locality. So it will vary. I mean, those in town, in KL, the median income is high, so the affordable homes will be higher range. And then maybe those a bit on the outskirts, in the smaller towns, the median income is a bit lower, then it has to go according to that.
Would this info be made published in that sense?
Yeah, that's like in our Dasar Rumah Mampu Milik, which have been launched, it's all there. So the developers are very much aware of these conditions and these terms and criteria.
Yes. But reports stated hundreds of thousands of properties throughout the country unsold. And these units actually include Bumiputra quota units and likely a significant percentage from the total. such becomes actually holding costs to developers actually. And what can ministry do to address this and overcome this?
Okay, where affordable homes are concerned, we have this somewhere in March, 1st to 3rd of March, we're going to have this home expo ownership exposition.
Sure.
Then this where exhibition, sorry. Then where we're going to have all these overhang units, and what I understand, about 23% of that 22.5 billion overhang units unsold are low cost. I mean, affordable homes that is 300,000 and below. So that's one of way of we trying to help to promote ownership and to give some kind of incentives and discounts at that time. But talking about the Bumiputra Kota,
yes.
For affordable homes, I think it's high time we have to go to a more general policy where we are going to base on needs.
Sure.
Because whatever the housing policies is going to be categorized by the income group. Because
Sure.
we're talking about affordable homes, we are tackling those people with 3,000 ringgit income per month,
Sure.
house income per month. So it doesn't matter whether you're Bumiputra, Indian, Chinese, whatever, as long as you fall into this category, you should be given a chance to own these houses.
So YB, for the other groups of segment itself, for example, some states or council has 30% Bumi Kota, some states have 50% or even higher. And this units, prolonged unsold units, for example, requires time for the authorities to release the Bumi Putra units itself, and sometimes takes 6 to 12 months from the date of application. Will ministry step in or to standardize the process?
Alhamdulillah, you understand what shall I say, the administration of this housing. We have various levels. At the ministerial level, we do the policies. We have the state intervention. We have the local government, and so on and so forth. So with this, we're going to advise them, because we're going to advise them. Probably got to review this Bumiputra Kota policy. Some states are, like you said, 50%. But sometimes it doesn't work when you have more Malay population. You go and give more Malay quota. It doesn't work because it also depends on the locality.
Right.
So therefore, this has to be studied. Probably we have to review it and come up with a more uniform policies so that every state can follow that.
So YB, very direct question that I have here. I mean, in this Malaysia 2.0, and since you said that in the B40 level, we should look at needs and everything, is there still place for Bumi quota?
Yeah, it goes to needs. Needs. That means you are 3,000 below, and then you should be qualified.
No, I'm just saying generally, is there still a place for Bumiputra quota?
At this point in time, I'm not too sure, because there was, at this point in time there was, but we have not really sat down to see how do we phase out this Bumi quota. So this is something that has been asked to me, but I really have not had time to really study it in details and see whether we can move away with that.
That's good. YB, please hold on to your thoughts. We will resume our discussion once we come back from the break.
Nak cari hadiah untuk hari ibu bapa? Ada Jintel.
Jintel Display Star dengan teknologi Moon Hand Massage yang terkini memberi urutan yang menyenangkan dan selesa. Sesuai untuk ibu bapa kesayangan anda. Bawa Jintel balik rumah, ibu dan ayah pasti suka.
Jintel.
Welcome back to Bernama Property Hot Seat presented by Sun Suria. Vincent and Chris here, together with our Honourable Minister, YB Zuraida Kamaruddin, Minister of Housing and Local Government. Now back to our hot seat.
Yeah. YB, you mentioned about the National Housing Policy just now in the previous segment, and we know that the very first one was actually by the previous government for 2013 to 2017, and then of course we're expecting the second one, which is to cover 2018 to 2025. As we understand that, you know, you were making on record saying that it's been subject to approval, then approved, and then it was end September, it was year end, and now in 2019. What's causing the delay?
No, there's not really a delay, but it's just the government procedures, because I was quite new to the system. Right. So when I thought that once it's completed, I could have just launched it, you know, but I have got to go through the cabinet papers. I got to go through cabinet, which the procedures is that whenever we prepare cabinet papers, we have to get to circulate that policy to all relevant ministries that's affecting housing. So I got to wait for their comments, goes round to all the ministries. So that was it takes time, about 1 month, you know, and then lepas tu another month to go into the cabinet. So that was because I was not familiar with the system, because I thought I was working in the corporate. When you're done, you can just launch and get the dates. So this is something that something for me, new for me. So now I'm quite familiar already with the system, and inshallah I would know how to plan my announcement in accordance to all the procedures.
Sure. So YB, given you said that the background from the corporate and all that, I also realized that your background education was mostly in Singapore. Yeah, that's right. So in that sense, would the HDB have any influence on our Dasar Rumah Negara?
Yeah, that's right. What I did was when I was appointed as a minister, the first country that I went back to, was Singapore. Right. I grew in that society where it is housing development board, the SIT flats those days, and HDB board, HDB flats. But I don't know what is the administration side of it, the management. So it's good for me now being the minister. I went there to listen to all the management of it, how the evolution evolved from one stage to another stage, and that was what I went through when I was in Singapore.
Yeah. Moving on from that, YB, market says that authorities in Klang Valley is holding back on development approvals. Some master plans approval or even development orders issued were thereafter issued with notice to hold on or KIV. Are you aware of this? What is happening?
That was the complaint that we had, because my concern, because local government is under my purview as well. So this is something that I had already, in a way, addressed the issues in terms of getting the enforcement and getting the different level of approval or departments to speed up. And having said that, we have already come up with a few guidelines where the OSC, one-stop center approval has to be done in a faster manner, speedier manner, where we have categorized it. That means those housing less than 4 units, you have to do it within, there's certain, in the past, in the past there was just a general criteria of 100 over steps, whatever. So now we have demarcated it by section. There's the smaller development, medium development, and the bigger developments. So therefore, the smaller one will be shorter. And also, secondly, is that my KSU, in English, the director, KSU.
Director General.
Director General.
Yeah. So he's now going around to all the PBTs and state government to explain about the needs to speed up all this approval.
What it means that the suspension is still ongoing, because what we
suspension
hear remember there was
no such thing as suspension.
There's no
such thing.
So there's no embargo on the approvals where approvals issued and then put on a notice to hold on, even maybe development orders approved?
No. There's no such thing as holding on. Except for probably, I don't know, at the local council level, probably there are things that did not comply with. They have to come back to and forth. That was why the timing was a bit taking a lot of time. But there's no such thing as suspension.
So there's no such thing as suspension. So we're clarifying that at this moment, because we hear from YB Khalid in his Federal Territory side, you know, there's about close to 100 of projects in KL are subject to those review.
Subject to probably what he's saying that, I think I understand what he's talking about, because when the new government come in place, because it's a normal thinking of government's civil service, when new government takes over, they hold everything until the new government review and review and approval and approve it. But in terms of those projects that is already being approved, they have to proceed with it. That was the policy. But the new projects, yes, we are reviewing. The projects has not been embarked yet.
The new projects, are you referring to projects that's already approved, issued development order by the authority, but yet would those projects be allowed to be proceed?
Yeah, that one in principle has to proceed, because approval-wise, you are supposed to go on. That means you go on with it. So, but the new projects, we are reviewing whether we want to proceed with it, we want to hold on, or we scrap it.
Okay, YB, I think let's bring back to this housing policy that we talked about just now. Because all I know is a 5 focus, 16 strategy, 57 action plan, and this year itself is 19 action plan. Is it too much on your plate?
No, it's not that much, because if everything is actually everything is integrated. So it's just 19 for presentation purposes, because it looks good and we have all the strategy you want. But everything we put together is just about one thing, that you have to develop that. You have to develop that affordable homes for the people.
So what is the desired impact?
The desired impact of
the national housing policy in terms of the whole picture in the industry.
Yeah, of course we want to improve the quality of the houses, and then the accessibility of the homes and the support system and the some of the ACTA, some of the acts and the bills we have to also amend, and also the big data management that we want to look into.
So, YB, if you were to say that categorize, and we want to look at what is your ministry's KPI in 2019 itself in relation to affordable homes, the housing policy, can you share with us just what is your KPI in 2019? What do you want to achieve?
Is that having to start projects for 100,000 homes. That's already in the plate. That's already on the plate. That's already on the plate. That's already presented in the Housing Council meeting with the PM, and we have identified where it's going to be and which part of the country.
Okay, YB, hold your thoughts. It's getting exciting, and we have lots more to cover, and we will lots more for us to talk. We will come back after the break.
Nak cari hadiah untuk Hari Ibu Bapa? Ada Jintel.
Jintel Display Star dengan teknologi Moon Hand Massage yang terkini memberi urutan yang menyenangkan dan selesa. Sesuai untuk ibu bapa kesayangan anda. Bawa Jintel balik rumah, ibu dan ayah pasti suka.
Welcome back to Bernama Property Hot Seat presented by Sun Suria. For those who have just tuned in, Vincent and Chris here together with our Honourable Minister, YB Zuraida Kamaruddin, Minister of Housing and Local Government. Now YB, you have recently announced the 10-year affordable housing plan, and Syarikat Perumahan Negara Berhad is to build 100,000 houses a year for 10 years. Would the funding actually come from federal government? How is the allocation percentage among the different states?
Okay, you're talking about SPNB just now, Suruhanjaya Perumahan Negara Berhad. It would not be under SPNB. It will be under our National Affordable Council, under Jabatan Perumahan Negara, under KPKT. Because as you know, we have streamlined everything. Those agencies is under government that build houses have been brought under one umbrella, that is under Jabatan Perumahan, under KPKT. So that is goes for Prima, SPNB and the PPAM houses. Okay, all this will put under one umbrella. So I'm putting everything into under one umbrella. So what is important for me is to deliver affordable homes. It might not come under the name of Prima. It will not come under the name of SPNB or PPM. Okay. So that is so in terms of funding, we pull everything together there. So there are, of course, there are three types of development that we're talking about. One is from the government themselves. Secondly is from the state. And then thirdly is from private sector. But this time around, I wish to emphasize so that maybe to make sure the public and whoever the state players understand was, in the past, the practice was these PPR homes or affordable homes, then they call it PPR, was being subsidized by the government. But we find that as far as as a nation to progress, we shouldn't be doing this anymore. So our plan should be sustainable. So giving subsidy and all those is not sustainable as far as we're concerned. But I believe that within some of the new mechanism that we're going to introduce, it will give the urge to the people themselves to work hard to own the houses.
YB, if those agencies are undertaking this role, that means the funds will probably have to come from federal government. Would the federal government have this kind of funding? If it's done by the private developers, it's actually in the form of subsidy or cross subsidies that need to come from the private developers.
That's right.
So what is the take and the direction now?
So the direction is now, what we do, KPKT as the building, the houses ministry that's responsible for building houses for the people. So first is we request all the state government to offer us lands. So when they offer us lands, that means for affordable homes only, this development cost, all this will be reduced or will be at the minimal. And that's one. Secondly is the compliance costs. That's also going to be a review and going to be absorbed by the different agencies.
That's a good news.
And then is for if the land from the government, if it's big enough, I can do a cross subsidy.
YB mentioned that I read somewhere on record that you talk about development on Wakaf land. Correct. So how did that work? And
that's another paper. That's another paper that we presented in the council. It's about Wakaf land. So I know Wakaf is under the state government, under the rule of the Sultan. So but it has been done in Penang. So we have studied and we modified some of it and we presented paper. So the council agreed to proceed with that. And now the procedures is that we have to present to the chief ministers and we have to bring to the Sultan.
So then YB, are we looking at affordable housing and this and the PPR? Then since you request land from the state authority and all that, does it mean that does the state that offer you most of the land, that where's the PPR and where the affordable
not really, because we are going to be very strict in selection of the land piece. We are not going to. We have make also criteria that of the land piece that you offered to us must be a workable land, meaning that land I don't have to treat, land I don't have to rehabilitate and that kind of thing. That's one. Secondly, the location of the land must be highly accessible. That means infrastructure is there. And then accessibility, the location is very important.
But the next question is actually on the sustainability and practicability. Now, the 100,000 houses per year, for example, would probably comprise of landed houses and even high-rise apartments units, correct? So YB, apartment living means strata title living, right? And very often, the residents in this case must pay maintenance charges. And the cost to upkeep, the percentage of the levels of collections of the apartment strata title living is a big challenge from since 60 years ago, 50 years ago, 30 years, and even now in future. Has the ministry figured out how to overcome, how to address this issue on the long term. Building is easy. Upkeeping is another question.
That's right. Yeah, good that you ask this question so that they can, the public can understand what you plan to do on this. Apart from what you say, this is also the management of the property is very important, because if you're talking about B40, they are category of people who are working class.
Sure.
So they can't afford to pay high maintenance. They can't afford to spend time to manage the property when we are burdening them with something that is unfair for them to do. So what ministry come, because when we were in a position in Parliament, we did mention that it's time to take over the management of this low-cost flats at that time. So maybe it's the affordable homes you're talking about. Yeah. So this time around, Ministry is packaging with a Dasar Community Negara.
Right.
So Dasar National Community Policy, where we're going to have a structured team to be placed in all these rumah mampu milik, so that to look into how to manage to the property and the collection and the cleanliness and all aspects of building maintenance and property management. We are going to train the people there to empower them.
Right.
Empower them, and also so that they can also be part of developing themselves.
What I'm hearing now is, like, we are playing nanny now. Are we looking really to help them, or are we ready to educate them?
Yeah, educate them. We want them to be empowered.
Sure.
So that's why we have to bring our people. It's fair that in order to make them be empowered, we have to offer them the training. So because, like I said, they are in the B40 group, they are not in position. They don't have the capacity.
Sure.
So therefore, we have to assist them.
Okay.
Thank you, YB. It has been a great session with you today. Join us next week for another VIP taking the hot seat. Vincent and Chris, signing out.